Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Brian of Hessens County, and I'm glad you could join me again today. Today, we're going to be taking another look at our Lineage Actual play. For those of you who might not remember from last time, or maybe are jumping in for the very first time, uh, Lineage is a game by Wash Your Hands Games that you can find a link for in the doobly doo down below, along with the expansion that we're going to be using to play this with. The last time we were playing, things went a little off the rails. So, as you can see here, here's our lineage so far. So, we started with Kar the Able here, who was our monarch of the city state of Palmas, and things were going pretty well to start. But during the reign of our last monarch, our Claude, Liiw the Brave, things went a little haywire. There was a rebellion. Two of his a multiple of his children kind of rebelled against him and tried to force him to abdicate, and he didn't go along with it. So one of them fled, Fisa over here, fled to his brother's city state, sibling city state, and became that person's heir instead because Luke didn't have a natural born heir themselves. So now we are going to be today playing as Sudaay the Terrible, as we have now entered also a dark age during the course of our last monarch. So that's going to change the flavor of the events that we end up pulling pretty significantly. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and move down here to our events and things because although we have decided that Sudaay is known as Sudaay the Terrible, we do not have a spouse yet. So I will go ahead and roll our dice. Again, we have 2d6. I'm going to roll for that on the table. So we have a 6 and a 5. Oh, oh man. Okay, so it says a close relative who is known for their cruelty. Now, one of the parts of rolling this particular one is that it says that we need to add +2 to our instability, which means our instability is now up to 5. Just a reminder, if any of these three numbers up here hits 8, then it's going to start triggering special events that could potentially result in a game over, so to speak, at the end of at the beginning of each succession round, basically. All right, so let's see. We need a name for this person, so and it needs to be a close relative. So I'm gonna say maybe we married like a descendant of like a cousin from maybe over here or something. And we'll say Janya. Yeah, Janya. Janya, that sounds nice. Okay. So we married Janya, a close relative known for their cruelty. Alrighty. So next thing, obviously we need to roll for our heirs. So again, remember I need to roll 2d6 and then subtract 1d6 from that. So my initial roll is an 8 minus 6. So we are going to have 2 heirs today. Okay, so I will go ahead and note those here. So we have 1 and 2. And actually, I'm just going to go ahead and name them since we only have 2. I don't need to get too creative. Let's name one of them Liiw after our poor departed father. And we'll name the other one, sure, we'll go with Baimo. So the circumstances of Sudaay's inheritance was, if I recall correctly, yes. So this war had started. So there was that initial rebellion that Liu had put down quite violently. Several of his their children ended up dying as a result of that war. But then, so the one left, and now Liu is sort of beginning to rebel to try to exert independence for his city state because they're sort of like a client state for us because of them being like a junior partner in this sort of like family dynasty relationship. Um, so Talisa is trying to rebel against Palmas. Um, Liu was trying to organize basically a military campaign to suppress this sort of rebellion, um, and re-exert control over Talisa, but he disappeared in camp while that was being organized. At least that was the way we were going to potentially do it earlier. So I'm going to say that that probably also means that because they disappeared in the middle of all of that, I'm going to say that that probably also adds another one to our instability, um, because of the fact that they just kind of just randomly disappeared. And that could potentially affect events going forward for Sudaay here. Um, so we've got that. So yes, I'm going to go ahead and roll for the number of events. So again, we roll 2d6, subtract 2 for the sort of coronation and getting married events. And I only rolled 3. So we get 1 event for today. Oh boy. All right, so we only get to draw 1 card. This is going to be a very short reign, I guess. Let's see here. So I have 1 card, and it is the Queen of Diamonds. And remember, we're under Dark Age, so I'm going to have to read from the dark-themed event column. So we have a long period of colder than normal years. Famine has been a constant for many. How does the monarch counter the negative effects of this? So we have a famine due to cold weather. One thing I am going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and roll Sudaay's death event, because depending upon what we get, we might want to actually make this related to the famine. And again, I roll 2d6. I have a 5 and a 3. So let's see. 5 and 3. No, I did that the wrong way around again. That's supposed to be a 3 and a 5. After a minor injury. So presumably some sort of like infection, or maybe the injury was more severe than expected. Okay, I know what happened. Okay, so the military campaign was preparing. Let's say the military campaign didn't end up happening because of the father disappearing. Liu's disappearance. It would help if I could spell. Resulted in canceling the campaign. Cold weather plus Talisan independence. De facto independence. Has reduced food supplies. Here. What we'll do is we'll say Sudaay had to accept Talisan independence to restore food imports. Yes, that's good. Okay, yeah. So Sudaay basically, Sudaay was in a really tight position, couldn't get food supplies, had to basically make a deal with their cousin, or their brother, their sibling. Yeah, so Sudaay had to make a deal with with Faisa, who's probably now the monarch, to basically let them go in order to basically gain food so that basically, the city state wouldn't starve. Um, the minor injury, let's connect that to the cold weather. How about, let's say, maybe, um, um, died from a clot because of a broken bone. After slipping on some ice. There we go. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. All right. So that was really quick. That was the quickest one we've had so far, by far. So how about, let's see. We need to decide who is the heir going to be. Sure, we'll make it Liiw here again. Good. And then we need to, at the very least, go ahead and roll this Liiw a cognomen. So Liiw's cognomen is Liiw's cognomen is going to be the Impaler. Okay. Oh, this got dark really quick. Okay, so yes, Liiw is now the Impaler, which the Impaler cognomen automatically adds an instability of +3. So that puts us at 9. So that means at the end of Liiw's reign, we're going to have to roll on the instability, basically bad event table at the end of Liiw's reign. So, right, I should go ahead and write Liiw II The Impaler. All right, so yes, we have Liiw II The Impaler. And we'll go ahead and roll for their marriage. We have we have a 1 and a 5, which means a distant cousin known for their intrigue. And let's call them Kyra. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll our heirs. All right, I have 2 and a 6. All right, so we have 2 minus 6, so we have 0 heirs. Well, this game could end right here anyway, so I guess it doesn't make that much of a difference. And the number of events we've got are 4. All right. Okay, so then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Alrighty. So, give me a second to shuffle these. One more time. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Alrighty. So again, remember, I'm going to be going from the Dark Age ones. So here we go. Oh, well, what do you know? Maybe I won't be doing that after all. So our first card here is a age change. So just to remind everybody, if my next card is a heart, then that means we have a golden age. If it's a spade or a diamond, that means we move back up to a stable age. And if we rolled if we draw a club, then we're staying in the Dark Ages. All right, we have a spade, so that means we're going to go back to normal. So we're back into stable age. Okay, so our first actual event in that case is going to be the 10 of hearts. All right, it says, ooh, interesting. An explorer from another nation has approached the monarch and offered them with maps of undiscovered lands. Do we take the offer or do we send him away? Okay, yes, that could be very interesting. I'm going to go ahead and look at the next card, and we'll come back to that event and potentially see how that could affect things. Especially seeing as that this might end up being our last monarch. Our next card is the five of diamonds. And it says the monarch's eldest heir has been crowned co-ruler of the realm. Okay. That's interesting because, of course, we don't have an heir. Though we do have a sibling. So maybe our sibling becomes a co-ruler? Interesting. Okay, yeah, we'll definitely come back to that one as well, because that could also have an effect on things. Our next card is the Two of Clubs. The Two of Clubs reads, our people who live in a nearby kingdom have decided that they want us to rule them. Do we let them join us and risk war, or do we leave them on their own to maintain the peace? Ooh. I get the feeling this probably has something to this particular event. This people potentially wanting to join us from a neighboring kingdom might be related to like citizens of Palmas who moved to Talisa and now want us back again. Okay, we'll definitely want to look more into that moving forward. Let's see, we have one more event. I have another age change card. All right, let's do this again. So again, heart means a golden age, spade is a stable age, diamond is stable, and club is dark. And I just drew a club. So we're going back into a dark age, which also means we add +1 to all of these. So now we're at an instability reputation of 10. Oh my. And also we need something to kind of justify why Liiw is called the Impaler. So I suspect for this particular like war event, we're probably going to be going to war. But we still need to draw a card for this last event, which is the Two of Diamonds. And remember, again, this is going to be a dark age. Protests and uprisings have spread all over the realm in response to the unpopularity of our monarch. That sounds very fitting. So now we're actually going to start rolling on the decline and fall table. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this before I do anything else because this might affect things moving forward. So all we do is we roll a 1d6 on the dishonorable table because that is the one that is above 8. And here we go. No, wait. No, not dishonorable. Unstable. Right. Unstable. We'll do unstable. So here we go. Okay. The monarch So we rolled a 5, which says the monarch has their spouse beheaded. And remarries. Spouse executed. Remarries. Which means we need to roll a second spouse. 1 and a 6. A 6 and a 1. On second thought, I guess I don't remarry. Let's see. Yeah, does not remarry. Never married and had no heirs. So that doesn't change anyway. And that also adds +1 to the dishonor reputation. Oh boy. Okay, all right. So, how are we gonna? Oh, right, death, 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 death. We need to roll the death event, which is a 1 and a 5. Fell from a horse. Okay. Alrighty. So let's see. We're gonna say that Baimo was the co-ruler for this time period, and then Baimo's children are going to end up being our heirs from here on out. But they also didn't have any heirs. Because I just rolled heirs for Baimo, and Baimo didn't have any heirs either. So I guess after this, it's going to go to whoever kids of this Liiw over here. Okay, all right. This is getting a little complicated. So let me go back to Liiw, and then we'll sort out who succeeds after Liiw once this is done. Okay, so Explorer offers maps of unexplored lands. I'm gonna say we send them away. Oh, no, 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 no. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the maps and get rid of the explorer. I think we're going to kind of lean into the fact that this Liiw is a little sort of let's just say vicious. Let's see. Monarchs. Let's say this was sort of to create an air of stability. So basically, like, but Baimo stays in the background. People in another kingdom wanted to join us. Do we risk war? I'm gonna say yes. So this is the war that Sudaay was supposed to do, or that our grandfather or our grandparent Liiw was supposed to do, but didn't end up doing, and then Sudaay didn't end up doing it because of all that. And then we'll say that Liiw pushes the war. So food ship end. Uh-oh. That's bad. So these protests are food riots. Yeah, these are food riots. Mainly. And yeah, it's basically because we went to war with Talisa again, and then the food shipments ended, and so that's how that ended up resulting. The spouse execution, I'm not necessarily going to touch that right now. I might come back to that later, depending upon succession and things like that. But yeah, I say we kind of, or I'm going to go ahead and stop things there. This sort of succession is going to be a bit of a mess because we got to go to like got to go over to like a princely house. And I will do that next time. That'll be one of the events that we do in the next video. And so because we got at least one more to go before things totally come off the rails. So thank you all very much for joining me. I hope you all enjoyed, and have a good zone. Thank you very much.
If you would like to show your support for this channel or for the Hessens County blog, in the description down below, you will find links to the channel coffee and also the itch store. Please feel free to take a look, and thank you for your support.